This is not Minecraft. You've been swindled if you thought it was. This is a vintage story, and what I originally believed to be a mod for Minecraft, that's how it started out. This is a much more intense and hardcore survival game, and a hardcore version of Minecraft, if you were to put it lightly. I think it deserves a little bit more than just that. It can get pretty overwhelming pretty quickly, but it's also peaceful. I mean, look at it. Game looks like this out the box. There's no like shaders or anything, you know. The graphics are not bad. They're actually quite nice to look at. Today we're going to kind of explore it a little bit more because there's a lot to this game, and there's a lot I kind of want to show you about this game. Don't worry, Project Zomboid is still in the works. That's still happening, but this is a nice little tangent. We're gonna explore this game a little bit. I'm not fully aware of this game yet. It has a lot more to offer for me. There's a lot more I need to do, learn, but I know some of the basics, and I think it'll be nice for me to kind of show you. We'll go through it together. So one of the first things you kind of start off doing in this game is just gathering some supplies for your first sort of nights. And the main important thing to do is to get these cattails, as you can see, or also known as the forbidden glizzies, you know, these little things. Don't eat these in real life, they will cause you harm. But your main objective, well, our main objective right now is to harvest a lot of these, as these are what we're going to use to create baskets, which, as you can see on the right here, those are going to be used to fill out our inventory space, as for the moment we have nothing here. We can only carry what's in our hotbar. You run out of space very quickly in this game, so it's important to get that. That terrifying bell noise that you hear in the distance is a temporal portal. I think that's what these are called. They're pretty scary, but they're also really cool. If you walk into them, your world around you begins to crumble. Your sanity meter starts to go down very quickly. This is also the portal where little Joe Rogans come out of. I'm not the one who originally named them that, but they do kind of look like little Joe Rogans. If I find a YouTuber which I watched that mentioned that they're called Joe Rogans, I'll be sure to shout them out. I actually kind of forget how many of these I'm supposed to get. I just know it's a lot because I think we need 2 on each side to make a basket. Yeah, two in a U shape, so that's pretty good. I think we might get all of them. Yes, okay, good. We've got inventory space kind of sorted out. What I'm going to do is try and gather the rest here, because we can use it to make small chests at the beginning of the game. Now, why is this game a lot more hardcore? Well, very much realistic when it comes to survival aspects. You have to make fire with a stick, right? Like you would in real life. You have to manage your food system, and it's much more diverse in this game in the fact that you actually have to get correct nutrition for it to hold. Because if you just eat berries all the time, your hunger's gonna go down quite quickly. But if you make yourself a satiating meal, you're going to go a lot further. As beautiful as the soundtrack in this game is, I'm gonna have to turn it down a little bit because I can't usually focus when there's just music blaring. There's a lot of realistic survival aspects in this game, to the point where getting a pickaxe to sort of go further, or even wooden planks, something that you take for granted in Minecraft, it takes a much longer time. I know it's pretty bad to draw comparisons to Project Zomboid, but I would like to compare the realism, as it is quite similar. Project Zomboid, you have to take care of your food needs, like nutritional needs. Macronutrients are quite important in there. Same goes for this game. Crafting is a lot more complex, just like I mentioned, similar to Project Zomboid. A very important thing to find, and it's best you find it as early as possible, is clay, because you're going to need it to basically get further in the game. Seeds are also going to be very important, because we're going to plant our own food, which is going to be essential for when winter comes in this game. The cool thing is that obviously you prepare for winter in Project Zomboid as well, so in there you also do something kind of similar. Winter being one of the more hardcore events of the game, just because survival becomes about 10 to 20 times more difficult than it already is in this game. However, you do also get something called temporal storms, which, as you can see in the general log, there's 10 days until that. I haven't actually experienced a temporal storm in this game yet, so it would be quite interesting to do so. Okay, don't You know what? I figured that was gonna happen, but I thought I'd try it out. This is the first time I've seen something like this. It's a hot spring. That's pretty cool. I never knew these were in the game. Kind of at first thought these were like the lava pools you get in Minecraft, but they are not. So you can set your like difficulty levels in this game. I've gone for the standard experience, which is neither insanely difficult, neither insanely easy. And in this mode, we do actually get ourselves a map, which is extremely useful. I'm going to kind of travel down a little bit further, and I'll cut the footage up so you don't really see it much, because I'm going to be walking and running, a little mixture of it, because I don't want to run constantly, as your hunger goes down much faster if you do so. What you saw me do just there was find copper, and that is an essential item to progressing in the game, and we actually got quite a lot of it already. The way you find it at the beginning is you find copper nodes like around here, like you see these rocks. Some of them will have copper in them, and once you find those, it's important that you mark them on your map, because what's happening is under that you'll be able to find more of those copper nodes, but you'll have to have a pickaxe in order to do so. And to get a pickaxe, you have to collect enough of these little copper nuggets to turn into copper, and then thus turn it into a real pickaxe. Alright, my quest for finding clay has been rather unsuccessful at this moment. This I'm also going to pick real quick, because this is how you make health items in the game. Make like a bandage. So get a little... Okay, yeah, that's already a problem. So that was a wolf, ladies and gentlemen. A wolf is not your friend in this game. Like, oh, that was another wolf. Yeah. I've made a grave mistake coming into the forest, and I should have known. None of them are chasing me, that's good. Sun is pretty low, and in true outdoor boys fashion, we should be thinking about settling down for a shelter near soon. Now, the best idea for that will be pretty much just digging a hole into the ground and surviving that way. But an essential item I'm going to need to get is some hay so that I can craft myself a bed. Alright, we're out of knife, so I'll quickly nap another one. As you can see, this is a very cool crafting system where you have to physically nap the flint into the tool you wish to create. I see this as a decent place to start thinking about maybe just settling down for the night at least. Another issue is we're not going to get any light unless I quickly get that sorted out. So let's make ourselves a axe so I can quickly get some firewood. And let's quickly make a shovel so we can dig. That's just one log, which isn't going to be good enough. Need something a little bit bigger than that. This is looking pretty good. And this might just be the place where we settle down for the moment. Just gonna build a little, like, 3x3 underground hut. As you can see, chopping down wood takes a little while in this game too. Now, I'm instantly gonna mention why I love this game, and that is the fact that you have to slow down in it. You really do. It's not like Minecraft where you can, you know, get most of the stuff you need at an insanely quick pace. This takes a little bit of time. There's genuinely things which you have to wait for. And that's a bad place to build because we're already at rock. However, we can build around it, I guess, so we'll stick to it. So there's genuinely things which you'll have to wait a few in-game days for. For example, making something as simple as charcoal, which is an essential thing in this game. That takes what I believe to be a whole day in-game. Alright, this should keep us safe. I'm going to set up a fire pit right here. So you do that by placing down some dry grass. That's going to start you out. That's like your kindling or whatever you call it. So now I'm going to have to get some of my wood, which I'll take about 4. And then you place your axe on top of it and you chop it into firewood. And you place it down on your fireplace. Generally put all of them in there. That's just going to be your fuel for the night. And now we're going to need to make I think this is how you make it. Yeah, there we go. A fire starter. So another essential tool. And then you're going to just sit down and yes. This sometimes takes a lot longer. Oh, there you go. We got lucky. We got it instantly. As you can see, we can already hear some spooky things outside, so we're going to close that off. And I'm going to pray that we've got enough. We do. Good stuff. So this is our little survival cabin for the moment. This will be a good time to you know, make some tools and such. So I'm gonna make ourselves a spear just so we got something to defend ourselves with in case we get attacked. And we seem to be fine for the moment. But I'm gonna use this time to just lay into the bed and skip the day, which ideally you don't want to do too much because you want to get a lot done in this game. So we're greeted with some peaceful music, day shining through already. Do be careful because sometimes the creatures will still be around. Seems like our hut was a good place to survive for the night. What I'm going to do now is look for a better place to survive. So we got a water source here and a pretty good looking base location. I'm not yet too sure what the ideal area to build a base is, but this looks like a pretty good one. Actually here it's a little bit more flat. We haven't found any clay yet, unfortunately, but if we do dedicate our time to go find some, I think we will. So many people would laugh that a dirt hut is a terrible base to build in Minecraft. Here it's pretty essential to build so, because it's one of the only materials you can build with at the beginning that's easy to gather. Now we can be pretty aesthetic here and build ourselves a hay house, and you see we'll build that up and sort of get a little hut going. What I like to do is put this against the side of a hill of sorts and then build down into the ground so I have a bit more space. Something like here would be good. Let's see if we can clear this out. I've never built on gravel before, so I'm not really sure if this is a good idea. I'm pretty sure gravel works the same way as Minecraft. Yeah, it does fall. As you can see, we've set up our little hut. It's not the best thing in the world. It's a little bit more aesthetic than just pure dirt. Less functional, that's for sure. So I definitely went for form over function here, but for now, I think it will be a shelter that will do us just good. Another important aspect in this game is food storage. Food storage gets rather complicated as well, as you need to basically make the old equivalent of a refrigerator, which you kind of have to dig underground as far as you can to get yourself a spot that's cool enough for you to store your food. My ideal goal later on will be to build a hut of sorts, so like an actual wooden hut. I do like building them in this because, I don't know, it feels like a survival thing you would do. There's a book I've been meaning to read called One Man's Wilderness by Dick Prenneke. Or well, it's about this man who went to Alaska. This was years ago, and he basically lived there for decades, building his entire hut. He just lived off the land there, and this game really lets you do something like that. And get ourselves our firewood. Thing with torches in this game is they do actually run out. Once you have a torch, that means you have a quick source of fire, which is quite essential as well. Oh, look at that. Got lucky again. So we're gonna light these. As you can see, they do take a little bit of time, but now we have them lit. I don't think this will burn. Actually, I don't know. This place I'm pretty much going to use for storage, and we'll put our bed there. I hope that this doesn't work like Minecraft, where I'll wake up in the blocks and die. Let's see if we can craft ourselves a door, which I believe is 2 logs, an axe, and then sticks. Very good. With this door, yeah, as you can see, it can break when you open it. So I don't trust it when it comes to running away from enemies, because as you can see now it lasted, but it won't always do that. So these rocks will have flint in them, so you want to pick those up. Let's make ourselves a hoe. So plenty of tools. We're not going to want to carry these all around at the same time. What I'm going to do is try and look for a better soil, because this, as you can see, is low fertility soil. Make sure we mark our base down here, make it pinned and make it a good color. I'll take this opportunity to look for something to hunt. Oh, look at that. I have no idea where that ran off to. Oh, it's right there. Yeah, hunting is not the easiest thing in this game, especially when you get into like bushes like this because you can't see them. I've changed class for this playthrough, and his throwing abilities are terrible. There we go. We're gonna get ourselves some meat and some small hide. which is great, but what we need to do now is find a bigger animal that's going to give us some fat so we can cure it, otherwise it's going to spoil, just like food does in this game too. Still no luck with clay, which is not good. I really need to be finding some clay so we can progress faster. Didn't find clay, but we found some peat, which is really useful. There we go. Yes, good. Good, we found clay. Let's get rid of some stuff that we have that we don't need. I'll eat this as well whilst we're at it. I was really wondering if I was going to be able to show you this progression before we called it a day today, but I'm glad we will be able to do that. So as you can see, we're going to have to collect it all with our shovel. Since we've got a lot of copper, we're going to be able to actually get going with the copper creation pretty quickly. Because once you get that copper pickaxe, you're pretty set to go much faster in the game. Okay, I think we've got enough for now. So let me take all of this stuff and then run it back. Here comes the next tedium, clay making. By placing some clay on the ground, we can choose what we need to make. Ideally, getting food made would be the best thing to do, but I'm going to try and focus on getting copper as fast as possible. For that, we're going to need a crucible. So now, as you can see, similar to the napping screen, we're going to have to start removing clay. Now the good thing is you can actually make your cursor a little bigger, so it becomes a little easier to do this, but it's still kind of tedious. And then we're going to get ourselves a 1x1 again, and we're going to start forming this clay. Luckily, we can also do a duplicate layer thing, so if we've done something similar, we can just do that. What you're seeing me make here is an easy thing. These things can get rather complicated, and they take a lot longer. But as you can see, we now have a crucible, which we're going to move ourselves over here to a spot which isn't going to burn. So I reckon we can make this our kiln. Placing this in here. Let's see, can we make something else that's going to go in here straight away? I think we can make some bowls, so let's put those in there. Okay, now I'm going to quickly gather up some grass, because that's what we need again. It's a Joe Rogan, dude. He's going after me. So these guys are a bit annoying. They're probably the easiest ones to deal with. They do get a lot harder as we go along. So now we're going to need to fill this with some dry grass to make a fire pit. Put some sticks on top of it. And then our fuel source. So in this case it was the peat. You can also use the wood gathered from a tree. And then we're going to have to set this on fire. With peat, this takes 16 hours, in-game hours, to cook. And that's that right there. Like, that's a major component of the game. I'll try and show you guys it before we go as well, so I'll play until the next day just to show this off. Is that a Joe Rogan outside? Yep, it is. Boy. Yeah, run away. I think there might be a portal somewhere here, because these guys seem to be appearing quite often. Oh, now that's a worse enemy. That's some weird spider thing up there. I'm just gonna go inside our little safe hut. So that felt like forever. I got myself some fish, as you can see. Took down a bunch of trees and started filling this charcoal pit, which I will turn into charcoal eventually. I just looked over and our first batch is done. I also managed to get 2 more things going, but let me show you this stuff. We got ourselves a crucible, which is going to be essential for smelting down some copper. We got ourselves a bowl, which is going to be essential for eating, and a crock pot, which is going to be essential for cooking. Pretty set. Some scary music started playing. I don't know what's going on. No complaints on my behalf. Thank you, Jacob, for the catchphrase. We got a very essential part of the game shown, right? When you play this game, you realize how important clay is, and I never used to take it seriously. You need to get it as soon as possible in order to progress further. There's no other way about it. You got to experience a little bit of this game. There's far more to it. This is barely scraping the surface of how much you can actually do in this game. With that, I want to appreciate you for spending your time here, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.